All right, so as you guys refresh and stuff, let me know if you can see me. Hunter, I think if you're connected to the hotspots, try disconnecting from the hotspot and see if it will work for you. Same thing with you, Javon. If you guys can just use data, see if it will fix it. Because I know, Javon, it started with you pretty much as soon as you got the MiFi. And then Hunter, I think you got that hotspot too, and this is pretty much the first time you've been on since. So see if that fixes. Is everybody else, can you guys hear me right now? So it's working for you, Mariah. But Mariah, I think the only difference is they have hotspots going now, and they didn't have hotspots before, so I think that's what the issue is right now. You're okay, Shannon? Okay. I don't know. Nice. Congrats. You will have fun. Yeah. So Javon, if you can hear me, I don't know if Javon can hear me right now. Still, and you disconnected from the hotspot and you're trying to run data and it's still not going. I don't know. This could be a Twitch issue, and I'll try to contact them and I'll see if I can get a fix. I'm trying to go into my channel right now to see on my second monitor. Yeah, it's got to be a connection issue going on right now. Oh, it is working now for you? Are you so Hunter, are you connected to Wi-Fi or are you running off data now? This is weird that it keeps doing it. I mean, it has been doing Javon for a while now. Hmm. I'm not sure 100%. Curd. It's not working now. I don't know. I'll look into it. I'll look into it today and see if I could try figuring it out. Um because it should be, I'm assuming it's happening on your phones right now. I'm not sure what's causing it. Because on my end, when I run my test, it says everything's running perfectly. So it's got to be somehow your guys' connection to the Wi-Fi or to cell phone towers. So I'll try to fix it from my end to try to help with you guys. Oh my gosh, Nightbot's attacking Shannon now. So that's all I can say right now. I'll try to get a fix for you guys. I'll play around with my settings because there's a way I output data to all of to Twitch so you guys can watch the video, and I have to change the rate as which it goes out. So odds are it must be going out at a slow rate for some of you guys, that your Wi-Fi is not fast enough or your cell phone data is not fast enough to keep up with it. So we'll see what happens. We'll just kind of go with it. I'm glad Javon got back in. Hopefully everybody else is going to as well. So I'm just going to go with these two problems. It's going to be very, very similar to yesterday. I'm going to go through all the steps with you guys. And then if it's still not working with you, definitely shoot me a message and I'll see if I could try to find a fix for you in the future. But first of all, so this is just like yesterday, same lesson as yesterday. If you guys watch the video, you're going to feel pretty good with what we did yesterday. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So first thing that we want to do, and I'll put little steps off to the side, is type into y equals. So what we're going to do is just type this expression right into y equals, and we're going to see if we can figure out all of the zeros that work. So I already have this one typed into y equals, and I'm just going to kind of go with it because it is a video, and you can go check it out at a later time if need be. But I have it typed in, and I'm going into table, and for whatever reason, my calculator wants to start at -60, so I'm going to scroll all the way down to 0. And we said yesterday that we want to try to find a solution that is 0 that we can divide out. So if you're looking through on this left side at all these numbers for our x's, the only one that I am seeing that is showing as 0 is at -1, which is 0. And if we keep going to the negatives, you may find another one. It looks like we do have another one at -5, and that solution is 0. So our first goal is to find the zeros. So we're typing in 2y equals, and then we're finding the zeros. Now you can pick any 0 you want. Now we could pick the -1 or you could pick the -5. It doesn't matter. You just have to choose one. So I'm going to pick one and I'm going to write it off to the side. I'm going to choose -1. I'm going to box that in because that's the one we chose. Now what we're going to do is we're going to divide the 0 out. So the 0 that I chose was x equals -1. So I'm just going to divide it out of that original expression. So I'm going to do it with synthetic division. Again, I know some of you guys don't do the synthetic. If you want to do it with the long division, you can. But as far as note purposes, I'm going to take this route because I think a lot of you guys are taking this route rather than the long division. So we are just writing down the coefficients. So we have 5, 29, 19, and -5. And the 0 on this one is -1 because that's the one that we chose. So I'm going to put the -1 on the outside. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring down that first number. And now I'm going to multiply. So -1 times 5 is -5. Now I'm going to add those together, and 29 and -5 is going to give us 24. Now I'm going to repeat the process. So I'm going to take that -1 on the outside, and I'm going to distribute it over to this 24, which is just going to be -24. If we add those two together, 19 and a -24 is just going to give us a -5. And now I'm going to distribute -1 and -5, which would give us a +5. And in that last part, if we did everything correctly, the last answer should be 0. Because we said in the calculator when we had -1, the answer was 0. So the calculator pretty much tells you the answer. You just have to show the work algebraically, which is what we've done. Now, after you guys divide it out, we just have to factor the remaining. I already did that color. I'll do this darker one. So now we just have to factor the answer. Well, we have the answer here. We just have to write it out in the correct terms. So we know that we have 5. And remember, when we go to write in our x's, we have to take away 1 from the exponent. So since the original was 5x cubed, this is going to become 5x squared. The original on the second part was 29x squared, so we have to take 1x away, so this is going to become a 24x. And the last part, we had a 19x, so we got to take that x away, and we're just left with minus 5. Sierra, are you asking what's the reasoning of the steps that we're doing? We're finding the zeros. So we're finding the 3 answers that crosses the x-axis in this problem. That's all it is. It's just like factoring a binomial. When we do like dots or GCF or factoring trinomials, anytime we're doing factoring, we're looking for where it crosses the x-axis. So what I'll do is after I'm done with this problem, I'll hit graph so you can see the graph on the calculator and why we're doing it this way. Okay? So now I can factor this by doing guess and check. Well, the only thing we can multiply to get 5x squared is going to be 5x and x. And then the only thing that we can multiply to get negative 5 is going to be 5 and 1. We just have to find the correct order. And I'll tell you guys the correct order is the 5 is going to be at the end and the 1's going to be on the inside. The 5 has to be positive and the 1 has to be negative. So we now have 3 answers. In order to figure out the other zeros, like Sierra was just saying, is we would have to do the t-chart. So if I were to solve the left side, this would be x equals positive 1 over 5. And if I solve the right side, I'm going to have x equals negative 5. And just remember, there were 3 answers. The third answer is what we started with, is what we pulled off the calculator. That is the third answer. We just have to make sure that we say what the bubble is. We have to just make sure we write it in bubble form. So the bubble is going to be x plus 1. So yes, Sierra, this is what we have to do when grouping does not work. And the reason why grouping doesn't work for these is because the graph has been shifted. When the graph gets shifted from its original form, it's very, very hard to do by hand, so we have to use synthetic division or long division to do so. So to put this in perspective, so you guys can check to see how these answers work out, is I'm going to pull the calculator back out, but I'm going to hit graph this time. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now, I know you guys are not a huge fan of, oh, come on, calculator. Come on, calculator. Oh my gosh, whatever. Calculator. So, if I look at this graph right here, what's nice about doing the graph on the calculator is you can just click on the 0 and it will tell you your answers. So I have one answer at -1. I have one answer at -5, and it's showing the answers in the top left corner. I can't point to it on the calculator right here, but it's sitting in the top left right underneath the time. You guys can see the equation, and it says x is equal to -5. Now, if I click on this last one over here, it says x is equal to 0.2, which is the third answer that we just had in our notes because we said the answer was 1 over 5, and 1 divided by 5 is 0.2. So we just need to know how to do it algebraically. Obviously, our graphing calculators on our iPads can solve this for us, but it will not be able to solve it algebraically. So those are the solutions. You just have to remember this question was asking us to find the factors. So if they're asking us to find the factors, we don't have to do the t-chart. We just need to know the bubbles, and that's it. So we can technically stop at those 3 parentheses and we're good. If you want to check it with your calculator, then you guys can do the t-chart and then you can match it up and make sure that it all worked out. Okay. So I'm just going to run through the next one. Same exact steps. We'll see how well you guys can pick up on it. If you're not picking up on it and you need to stop by the Zoom tomorrow, feel free to do so. I'm still going to have Zoom with you guys tomorrow. Is it always going to work with out with no remainders? So in this case, yes, Sierra. The problems that I'm going to give you guys will not have remainders when you go to do it. And it's because of what you chose from the y equals. So when you're checking the table, holy cow, now I'm at 294. I hate this thing. So I'm going to go all the way back to 0. So you are choosing the one that's going to have no remainder. So as long as you're choosing the one that has the answer of 0, you'll be okay, Sierra. If you choose a different one, then you're going to have a remainder, and it does not work out nice. Oh, now the calculator decides. That is what I was trying to do 5 minutes ago. All right. Oh my gosh, now my iPad's frozen again. All right. So I'm going to go through all the same steps. Let me bring the steps down so you guys can follow through with what I was writing. All right, so the first thing we have to do is type it into y equals. And now my calculator doesn't want to work at all. Beautiful. So I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to clear all that out. I have 4x to the third power minus 9x squared plus 6x minus 1. All right, so I'm going to check the table. I got to scroll all the way to 0 again because my calculator hates me. And I want to try to find something on here. I want to find something on here that has an answer of 0. So I'm looking for the 0. Well, as I scroll through, it looks like I'm only seeing one answer that works here, and it's at x equals 1. That's the only solution I'm seeing. I am not seeing anything else. So that means the other two answers are going to be fractions. So off to the side, I'm just going to write down x equals 1, and I'm going to box it in because that's where our 0 was. Now that we have it, now we're just going to divide the 0 out from that original problem. So I'm going to do my synthetic division. I have 4, -9, 6, and -1 on the inside. And then we're going to have a +1 on the outside. And now I'm just going to divide it all out like normal synthetic division, and let's hope that our remainder is going to be 0. So this is supposed to be a 4. So I'm going to multiply. 1 times 4 is 4. Add those together. -9 and 4 would give us a -5. Now I'm going to multiply those, and I'm going to have -5 under here. 6 and -5 is going to be a +1. 1 times 1 is 1. And -1 plus 1 would give us 0. So to go back on what Sierra was saying earlier, if that last number is not a 0, then you did something wrong and you have to go back and fix it. The last number has to be a 0. Ella, yeah, it's something. The calculators that are on our iPads are not official Texas Instruments, the TI calculators. So they can be very faulty. And yeah, Shannon, technology is awful. Sierra, yeah, I hope you get your package on Friday. So now I just got to write down that final answer and factor it. So I have 4x squared minus 5x plus 1. Now I'm just going to factor it with bubbles, and let's see if it works out, which it should. So there's two things we can multiply to get 4, but the 1 we know is going to have to be 1 times 1. And I'm looking at this, it looks like we're going to have to use 4x and x in order to solve this one. The signs have to be -1. Ella, I'll show you how to fix that part on the calculator. That's an easy fix. So those are two of the factors. Just remember, because we started with x cubed, x to the third power, that means there is a third answer, and that third answer is what we started with. So you just have to make sure you bring that down as well. And if you change that into a bubble, it's not going to be x equals 1. It's going to be x minus 1. So this down here is in its factored form. Okay. So if you want to check it on your calculator, you can change them into, you could do your t-chart, and then you could just click on the calculator and find the answers. So the answer should be x is +1 and x is 1/4. So if I go back to my calculator and hit graph, you guys should see that it is crossing on the x-axis twice. It is crossing at 1, and since it's a hump on the x-axis, we called that a double root. And then the other one is right there, and it says 0.25, which is 1/4. So this does check. Ella's saying that she has an issue right now, and it normally happens when your calculator has been reset. So I'm going to reset mine and show you guys this issue. If you look at my calculator right now, it is counting up by decimals. So this is a very, very easy fix. I'm going to show you guys that fix, and then while I'm showing the fix, I'll put the homework questions up too. Let me move this over here. So those are the 2 homework questions that I would like you guys to do for tonight. I made it due on Monday. So you guys have the entire weekend, and if you need to see me in Zoom tomorrow or on Monday, you guys will have the opportunity to. So copy those down. If you want to do it on a piece of paper and take a picture of it, you can. If you want to do it right on the iPad and just send it in through Shobi, you can do it that way. But as far as the calculator fix goes, if anybody else has decimals, this is a very, very easy fix. What I want you guys to do is hit the second button, the yellow button, and then you're going to hit table, because right above it, it says TBL set, and it's going to take you into a screen like this. We always want to start at the number 0. So where it says table start, change that to 0. And then I'm going to scroll down, and it says triangle table. This is saying the value that you want to change by. The calculator default is always 0.1. We want it to be 1. So all I'm going to do is just type in the number 1, and it will fix it. Now if you go back to the table, you should have 0 on there. I don't know. It still started in the negatives for some reason for me. But now I have the 0, and it's counting up by ones. So hopefully that fixes it for you, Ella, and you'll be okay. Yeah, this week I just made up questions because we haven't necessarily, this was all still Unit 10. I just didn't teach you the full lesson. There was a lot more that went to this lesson. I just stuck with the basics because I know some of you guys plan on taking pre-calculus next year, and this is a topic that is taught in pre-calc, so I need to at least introduce it to you guys so you weren't completely lost. And you know, you could be like, oh yeah, I have seen this before. I kind of know what I'm doing. All right. So make sure you have those copied down. Take a screenshot on your phone if you don't want to copy it down. You just want to come back to it later. Or computer or whatever you guys are watching this on. As far as everybody that is still in here, I haven't checked at everybody in the chat. Everybody in here, did you get it to work for you? That is my question. So did my video work all the way through? Like, I see Olivia is still in here. I just don't know if it worked for her or if she just stuck around. Yeah, because I see Javon's in here. So Javon, well, Mariah, I know it was working for you. So Ella, I know Adriana was working. Okay. Yours has been working, Shannon. So it's usually some type of connection with the Wi-Fi. What my suggestion is going to be is if you guys still have issues with this in the future, maybe try resetting your Wi-Fi and resetting your phone or computer or whatever you're watching it on, because sometimes it does that occasionally through Twitch. The coding through Twitch is really weird. I wish and then the other thing that I would recommend is if you go into quality, I'm not watching it on my phone right now, but if you go into, when you're watching the video, if you click on it, there's a little like settings button, and there should be something that says quality. And then right under quality, you'll see advanced. and I get it on my computer. I don't know if you guys get it on your phone when you're watching it. But if you go into the advanced part, make sure low latency is turned on. So I can't really show it to you guys because I have it on my other computer monitor. I don't know if it will pop up if I try adding it right now. Window capture. Let me see here. So this is only for the people that are... Oh, that's my iPad capture. I don't want the iPad capture. We already have that on there. Let's see here. Video capture device. Add source. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play around with it, and then I'll get back to you guys, and we should be able to go from there. Usually, you guys should all be getting a black screen right now. Come on. It's gonna load up. No, it doesn't want to. Yeah, I'm not sure how I can really fix it right now. It doesn't want to capture it. All right. Well, it's okay. Just make sure if you guys see it, there's something that says low latency. Make sure it is turned on, because if it's turned off, that's where you can get some lag sometimes. And like I said, it happens more with cell phones than it does with computers. So if you're watching on your phones, that could be a reason. But all right, well, I'm going to get going because my wife and I can go pick up Archie, and we were told that he is doing okay. So if anybody was still wondering, I didn't talk to you. Puppy should be good. So we're happy to go grab him. I am going to go make sure that my wife is ready. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. And again, please make sure if somebody you know was not here in the video, please make sure that they know the homework is here on the lesson. Tell them they have to watch the video and go to the lesson, okay? From my point of view, the homework popped on at about the 25-minute mark. So if you tell them to go to about 25 minutes in the video, they will get the homework assignment. So it's already in Shobi. Turn it into me when you guys can. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you soon. See ya.